Well, good morning. So here I am, post-op. I'm still here. um, so I'm doing this a day early because obviously tomorrow is Christmas Eve and I've got a hospital appointment. So, I probably won't, I'll forget about it tomorrow or whatever. So I thought I'd do it this morning. So I'm a day early. So anyway, we'll do the numbers first. So I'm 75.7 this morning. So I'm zero point 0.5 of a kg up, which is to be expected apparently, even though I've had about half a kg of internal bits removed. I did say to the nurse, because I was at one point I was up to 78 in the hospital. They had a scales down in the corridor and I went down and weighed myself, and she said that is completely to be expected. When they operate on you, they pump you full of saline solution and get your fluids up because it's important that you're fully hydrated. And obviously my I'm slow, I'm not moving as much as I would normally, and it will take time for that to return to normal. I definitely know it's not what I've eaten, because to be honest with you, I completely lost my appetite in hospital. I ate very little, to be honest with you. Very little. I just didn't fancy anything. Everything tastes weird. Things still tasting weird now. Like this morning, I've just had a couple of boiled eggs and one small piece of low carb bread, which we've managed to find. We've managed to find a bread that's only 8 carbs per slice. It's the lowest one you can find that's commercially produced here in New Zealand. So if I just have an occasional slice, that's fine. So anyway, we'll go into the gory details of the operation. There isn't any. It all went really smooth. I went in. I think really for me, the fact that I didn't do a lot of research and I didn't look into it an awful lot, I just went in and it just happened, and that was it. It was what it was. So I went in quite early in the day, and I didn't have my operation until the Tuesday evening. I think it was about 5:30. I ended up going down to surgery. Remember going down, remember getting on the table, remember the mask. After that, I woke up in the recovery room. It was quite painful when I woke up. They're asking you, they tell you to scale your pain. 1 to 5 is manageable, 5 to 10 isn't. And I must admit, I was around 8 at that point. They did give me a pump for morphine, which I kept pumping, and she kept telling me, it's not good you keep pressing that, because it comes out at a limited amount each time. So they decided that because I pressed it so often that I must have been in more pain, they gave me, I don't know, I think it was an injection or whatever, I can't remember. But basically, once they got that under control, everything was fine. And then obviously throughout the night, they kept coming in and doing what they call your observations. So blood pressure, heart, oxygen saturation, and what was the other thing they did? Oh, temperature. That was fine. I could only sleep on my back because, I couldn't go on my side. So yeah, that was and then the Wednesday, which is like the day after, I had it the night before, I felt great. I felt really good. I was able to get up and walk around. I felt like a bit sick in the morning, that first initial get up, but they gave me something for that, and that sorted that out. I was able to walk my friend down the corridor when she came to visit, and then she left. I didn't go down the stairs or anything. Walked up and down the hall quite a bit, just to get some exercise and to keep the blood flowing, because they worry about blood clots and all that kind of thing. And yeah, so Wednesday was a good day. Now Thursday wasn't so good. Whether it was because a lot of the anaesthetic and whatever it was they were pumping in me had started to wear off, I felt quite out of sorts on the Thursday. Plus all this time, I did have a catheter right up until, I think it was the Wednesday lunchtime. And then I was able to go toilet myself after that for a wee anyway. And then, but I hadn't been to the number 2s, and I felt come the Thursday, I felt completely bunged up. Even though I hadn't eaten very much, I felt bunged up to my armpits and really bloated and uncomfortable. And I just wanted to go to the toilet. So my husband brought me in a couple of kiwi fruits, even though they were giving me some medication to keep things flowing, shall we say. It didn't seem to be working. Pardon me. So I had a couple of kiwi fruits. Anyway, Friday morning, lift off. So I felt so much better once I was able to go to the toilet and just release, all that gas build-up and have you. And so anyway, I felt really good after that. So I wasn't initially supposed to come out of hospital until the Saturday. But because I felt really good after going loo, I asked if I could go home that afternoon, and they said, yeah, absolutely, you can go home if you want to. You got care at home, that's the main thing, and you're doing well. I mean, they were really pleased with my progress, and said, everything was going extremely well. And yeah, so I came home Friday after lunch. I stayed for lunch, came home after lunch, and I've been home. So what is it now? It's Sunday morning now, so I've been home for a day and a half, and everything's good. So how do I feel? I feel really good. Obviously I've got sore spots in my tummy. I've got quite a large, incision. And the doctor told me that it was quite a large womb, with that growth, that fibroid inside. He said, and no wonder I was wanting to go to the loo, and I had back pain. Do you remember I used to come, I don't know if you watch my other channel, my orchid channel, but often while I was doing some videos, I was sitting down because I was getting quite a lot of back pain. Well, apparently that was because the womb, it pushed up my bladder up into the small of my back, or squashed it up there, and it was causing pressure on my back, and that was all part of it. Of course, I didn't realise that. I thought it was because I was doing extra work around the garden. I didn't put two and two together. So I haven't had any back pain since the surgery, and obviously I'm still going loo because things are still sluggish down there, and it needs to be all get working right. So, that's good. It's alleviated that back pain, which is brilliant. And he said now it's a much more spacious inside. So my bladder's got much better room. And he took everything away except for my ovaries. He said the ovaries were looking good. They don't normally remove them unless they're looking deteriorated. He said, but they were looking good. And apparently I am menopausal right now. That's a whole new other story about the menopause, because I don't have any menopausal symptoms because of a procedure I had done many years ago before I came to New Zealand. So I no longer have periods or bleeding. I haven't had them for 14 years because of a procedure I'd done called a ablation, because I did have problems with all that years ago. So I can't tell if I'm menopausal, other than, mood swings, I suppose. My husband probably have something else to say about that. But anyway, I do know now that I am going through the menopause. I don't think I'm post-menopause, but they like to leave the ovaries because it helps with it, because although it's not producing an awful lot of estrogen, it is producing some, and it will help with alleviate symptoms of that. So they're still there, but everything else is gone. Cervix, fallopian tubes, the womb, or the uterus is all gone. So that's good. I asked him if I'm going to have a perfectly flat stomach in future, and he laughed. He said, they all ask me that. He said, not really. He said, you will be a little bit lighter, but it is what it is. So I feel quite comfortable about everything. I'm surprised at how much I feel that I'm able to do. I mean, they did go on at me quite a bit, especially when my husband was visiting. One of the nurses particularly said, oh, you can't lift anything heavier than a plate, and you can't do this and you can't do that. But, I came home Friday, and I didn't do very much Friday. But yesterday morning I got up and I had a little wander around the garden, and I just did a little bit of deadheading. Once I'm stood up, I'm fine. You know, I can walk about a bit. But come yesterday evening, we went into our local grocery store and got some groceries for Christmas. And it was great because I went in there, they provide wheelchairs. I sat in the wheelchair with the trolley on the front. My husband pushed me around, got no problem with that. Didn't bother me. And got the groceries. He was able to park right outside the shop to drop me off and pick me up. So that wasn't a problem. But I did feel quite tired and sore when I came home. So I thought, you know, that's it. I'm going to listen to my body and I'm not going to do any more today. And I didn't. So that's good. So I've got up this morning. I have made the bed. You know, it was easy. I mean, I think when they go on about don't make the bed, don't do this, don't hoover, I think it's more around like in the olden days when people have big heavy blankets and sheets. I've got a very light duvet on my bed, and it was just a case of just literally dragging it up over the bed, which is nothing. I'm not ready for hoovering yet. And I've got a very lightweight hoover. I've got one of those fancy Dyson rechargeables, and we've just got a new one, like the latest one, which is fantastic. I wouldn't live without it. And my husband is doing that, but when I am ready to do it, it's going to be easy because it is so lightweight. You know, it's, I don't know, I think it's 5 kgs all up. It's hardly any weight, and I will be able to do that. So, but meanwhile, my husband's having to do that, and yeah, so he's stepping up. He's not. He's not. We're this far away. You know, his idea when things need to be done, and my idea when things need to be done. So we just need to sort of meet in the middle a bit. You know, and I just need to realise that he's not going to jump to it immediately after I say, can you do this? Can you do that? So if we can compromise on that, I think we'll rub along nicely for the next 3 weeks, because it's 3 weeks we're together now. So it should be good. As far as the surgery went, I just had the incision. I had a drain as well, which was removed the next day, that was weird when they pulled that out. I could feel it going across my stomach. It wasn't sort of painful, it was just weird. The whole process has been far easier than I thought. I've got, you know, anybody deliberating whether to have it done, I'd say go ahead and do it. You know, I mean, for me, it's not been a bad experience. It's been pretty good. I've got no worries around the future or how I'm going to cope. I think I'll do just great. I think in probably, you know, 2 or 3 weeks' time, I'll be virtually back to normal. Hopefully. I may struggle a little bit with pushing the mower because the mower's quite heavy and, you know, I've got to push it a bit. But, you know, I can get my son to cut the grass. It's not an issue, especially if I offer a little bit of financial incentive. He'll cut the grass. So that's not a problem. As for the rest of the stuff, I'm sure I'll be able to cope. As far as the garden and the weeds are concerned, they can just grow. You know, I mean, I'll get my husband to pull out obvious things. And of course, the weather has been absolutely horrendous, which has been a bonus for him while I've been in hospital. It rained all the time I was in there, which is great. He didn't have to worry about watering or worry about the orchids or anything. He just opened the door and the humidity in the air was enough for the orchids to cope for that week. But I do have to go out there today, perhaps water a few things, and he's going to come out with me and do that, because I don't think I can lift up the 5-litre pressure sprayer. He'll have to carry that and pump it, and I'll just, you know, put the water in, so that'll be fine. It may take longer, things will take longer, but they'll get done eventually. Yeah, so that's it really. If anybody got any questions, feel free to ask. Thank you very much for all your well wishes and your support. It is very much appreciated. And yeah, I'm doing good, real good. So as far as the weight loss is concerned, I'm going to get back into, I'm not worried over the next couple of days, because obviously the next 2 or 3 days we're going over the Christmas period. So, you know, I am going to attempt a Christmas dinner. with my husband's help. Obviously, I'm not going to be lifting in and out. We're having chicken, so I'm not going to be lifting that in and out the oven, but I can more or less put things together. You know, I can sit down and peel the veg. We're not having a massive amount of meat, of different veggies. It'll be easy. And if I find it too much, I'll just hand the reins over to him. You know, simple as that. So I'm not too worried about what I'm going to eat over the next couple of days. We did buy some chocolates yesterday, mainly for my boys when they come round. And I did have a couple of chocolates last night as a little treat. And I wasn't that bothered about them, to be honest with you. I felt quite sick in the night, so whether I eat them or no, neither here or there. I'll just be careful with what I do eat, and but I am going to eat. I'm going to have stuffing. I'm going to have Yorkshire puddings, and I'm going to have a roast potato. Once a week, then a year is not going to be an issue. So so hopefully I will be back down to at least my 75 kg weight, pre-op weight, and hopefully it'll be a little bit more, because I've had, I think it was about 400 and something grams, the weight of what they removed, because I had a health record in I've got like this health, my doctors is all quite modern here, and they send you, when you have a new record come into your medical record, you get notified of it, and you can go in and have a look, and you can read the lab report, which is brilliant. So I was able to decipher the lab report to, I think it was 390 kilograms for the actual thing itself, and then you got the womb and the tubes and all that as well. So it was, it was up there weight wise. So so that's good. So I'm expecting at least that to move the scales at some point. Anyway, we'll call it a day there. 17 minutes, so that's long enough, me rambling on. So anyway, I hope everybody has a good Christmas. I hope everybody's families are well. And and I'll catch up with you next week, which will be, I've lost my weeks. I think I'm 24 right now, so it'll be 25 next week, which is New Year's Eve. Okay, so have a good one, everybody. Bye for now.